Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name's Dennis. Today we're going to talk about Be Quiet's Dark Base 700 case. We're going to get it out of the box, we'll have a quick look at it, see how it's packaged. I've already taken it out of the box, so I'll just let you know that. But we're going to see what all is in the packaging, and then we're going to go over the case and have a quick review of it. So here we go. Okay, so it's a rather hefty sized case. Packaging on the side, nicely wrapped in whatever this is. And this is on top. I have no idea what it is. It says Cat 6. We'll have to get it out of the package and have a look. It's pretty interesting. It's actually got like an Ethernet thing on it. So we'll have a look and see what that all is after we get all of this off. So getting your styrofoam off, this is tucked underneath. So if you got your Be Quiet Dark Base 700 Outstanding Flexibility and Silence User Manual. And that's pretty much all there is to that. We're going to get this off. So this is the bottom, and it's got one heck of a base on it here actually. Good sturdy feet. So we're going to get that off and we'll continue from there. Okay, so we got it out. So first thing I want to show you is talking about what's on top of the case. Kind of on an angle here, so it's kind of nice. So you got two USB 3.0s. You've got the button here that's going to help you with changing the colors of your RGB. So starts with one color and then breathing, goes to the next color and breathing, and then it goes down to multiple colors and rainbow kind of thing. This is your reset and your LED button, so for your hard drive. Power button, your mic, headphone, your USB 3.1 Type-C port, and this is for your fans. So you've got your auto on the bottom and 3 different fan settings. And I'll show you on the inside that it also has the ability to have 3 of your fans going at one speed and 3 going at another speed. So this is just to point that out, and this is going to help you with that as well. So let's move down to the front, take the front of the case off, the front panel, and show you how that's done. Okay, so you have a little groove on the sides here, and that's where it's going to come apart. So you're going to just put a little pressure here, or however you want to do it. You're going to pull it, and it's going to come off. All right, simple as that. Okay. And what's kind of nice is also you got your sound dampening in the front and a quick connect on the bottom. And of course you have the filter. So push down on this, you'll hear it click, and that comes out. So that's going to make it really easy for you to clean it, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, then we have our 140 millimeter Silent Wing 3 fan. And you can also put a 360 millimeter radiator in the front and in the top, but we'll get into all that afterward. But just to show you, you have room for 3 120s or 3 140s in the front. And of course, putting everything back in is just as easy, right? You got 2 little slots on the bottom here. So face this out toward you, push it in, and it's just gonna pop right in. It's in there pretty snug, so it's not coming out unless you're giving it a lot of attention to pull it in. This is going to go back on just as easy. Line up your... Now I want to show you this actually. Your tabs, nice big strong tabs, all right? And you've got 2, 3 on each side, and it also goes into these little divots. So it makes it putting it on, it's on there secure. One thing I don't like with some cases when you go to pick them up, you pull up from the bottom. Problem with that is when you do that, and then somebody, say you sell it to them or you give it to them or whatever the case might be, they go and carry it from the front and the whole thing pulls off and it can be wind up on the floor. And that's actually happened. So just be aware of that. I'm going to wipe this down, make sure this all comes off, which I'm sure it will. And we'll move on to the inside, take the tempered glass off and see what we got. Okay, so taking the front off, the tempered glass, you got 4 screws here. Take that off. It does have the plastic on here. I'm going to leave it until after I complete everything. And you can see in the inside, you got a box of goodies, your accessories, your screws, all that kind of good stuff. And likely, they usually include 1 hard drive bay. Okay, so we got little screws here. They're actually kind of thicker than a lot of the rest of them, so it makes it much easier to get a hold of. I'll show you one of those in a minute here. See, it's a lot thicker. I don't know if you can see that. It's about twice the width of a lot of the other tempered glass panels which makes it a whole lot easier to do things with. They should all come that way, in my own personal opinion. So tempered glass is off. Of course, it sits there. You just pull on it a little bit, and it comes off. And we're going to have a look on the inside of the case. Okay, so we have our little box of goodies here. So let's see what comes in here. Pretty light, but I got an idea what it is. I believe it's just a hard drive. So you have one extra bag. I actually have a couple of these because I've had a few of these different cases now. So let's see. Okay, let's what we got. What do we got? So we have our bag with some Velcro straps. Has all your different screws and standoffs, everything like that, and the ones for your fan. And like I said, your hard drive cage. Okay, so that's going to go. These here will push out, and this just slides in and fits in place. So you can put a 3.5 inch, or even it has brackets here for a 2.5 inch drive. So, and it's got a few more straps in there as well. So, while you would need, oh, wait a minute. It's got a couple these little rubber brackets. What they are is they're to help you. You fit them in here, and it dampens the vibration of the hard drive. So you got room for up to an eATX motherboard in this. It's got all your different sizes here: ATX, Mini ITX, Flex ATX. I don't know why they say that even, but and Micro ATX. So basically, it'll come out. Now, if it's an eATX motherboard, it'll cover these. So just be aware of that. All your standoffs are already in place. They started doing something here. I don't remember them doing that in the past. Is this will hold your motherboard in place. So you put it in, that holds it in place. There's nothing to screw in. It's just the way that one is. So it's one less thing you have to screw in and mess with. And then you, for your ATX, it's already in place. You got a nice big cutout for if you need CPU cooler or something like that, you want to put it from behind. You've got one 140 millimeter fan in the back, rear exhaust. I'm going to add a couple in the front. I've got some fans that I bought a while ago, thinking they would fit a different case, but they didn't fit. But I know they'll fit on these ones, on this one, and that'll be great. So they got a little bit of tape here, so I just want to show you what that is and the reason they put that there. And the nice thing about this is this power supply shroud. So you need to get inside here. This will open. Let's see if I can do that. There. So it takes a little bit of pressure to pull it out. And then you can, okay, it's going to take a little bit to get it out. So all I had to do is just wiggle that a little bit back and forth and it all pops out. So you got the little slots, and there's slots in the bottom. So when you put it back in, you just line this back up, line it up with the slots, and you'll be able to push it back in. But we're going to take that out and leave it out for now, because I want to show you here. So this is, we've got a couple of 3.5 inch hard drive bays down here in your cage, which will move, and you can take it out if you want to entirely. You've got a huge power supply bay in here. Okay. Beauty of that is you can have some of the biggest power supplies out there are going to fit in this case. Like I've seen like one of the biggest 1600 watt ones that went in this without any difficulty. And of course, if you want extra space, of course, you just take these out. So these here panels, they do pop up. I'm just going to show you that. Okay. All four of them. All four of these will all pop up. And I'll show you why not. And what's nice, is particularly this one, make sure you can see that, is it's going to give you room if you have a radiator and you want to put a 360 radiator in the front. Gives you the room to do that. Okay, so, and they all go back on just as easy as they came off. 7 PCIe slots in the back for graphics cards, adapters if you need them, whatever that case might be. Now, let me just turn this a little bit so you can see you can mount it. You do have to get a riser cable. So you can mount it vertically if you want, so this way. You got rubber grommets on here. You do have some nice spacing up in here. Now, one other thing I want to double check. So you have a screw here, and you also have another one over here. So once you take that out, this will all just come out. And the beauty of that is now, it'll help you mount your fans and put your radiator in there. Then once everything's on here, you just put it back up here, slide it in place, and then you're going to tighten that back in with the 2 screws, and it's going to be solidly in place. Your radiator can come down, go on your CPU, and keep it nice and cool. So, which eliminates a lot of the problems with being able to game and stuff like that. Having the quick ability to put that on there, take it off, and especially for maintenance, it allows you to take that out, put it back in. So let's have a look at the back here real quick. Nothing really special. I mean, you got your 140 millimeter rear exhaust fan. You got some ventilation here. You have your cutout for your I/O shield. 7 PCIe slots, as I mentioned before, and for vertical mounting. And your power supply. Now, it doesn't go from the back. You have to put it in from the side here, but you got plenty of room to do that. And then you just fasten it on the back. So we're going to open the side here now. These are captive screws. I've already loosened them. So captive screws, and then just pull. Now that is one heavy panel. And of course on the inside, insulate it for sound. And because the idea of this whole thing is soundproofing, to have a quiet system, which is a key thing for me. Now here's a really nice feature I want to point out as well. Okay, so the nice thing about your fan hub is you've got 2 settings. So you've got a switch here to go from performance to quiet or silent, and both on, so you got 3 and 3, and you can work those independently. So if you want your radiators to be faster than the other ones and the other ones to be nice and quiet, that's the way you can go. Of course, you have your cabling all nicely done up here, and I find a lot of times I will undo this just because of the way this is done, and I'll use the Velcro straps that they give me instead. You have the cabling all here. So you have your HD audio, your USB 3.1, your RGB, so it's a 4-pin RGB header that you're going to be looking for. Your SATA, probably for your fans, and you have all your normal case, which are going to be your reset, HD LED, your power, and your PLED positive and negative. And you've got your USB Type-C cable that's going to go into the motherboard if you have that on it, and another one to control your fans. So this one has to go, this one here for the fans has to go to the motherboard. So don't keep that in mind. Otherwise, you're not going to have any kind of control. Right? And that's pretty much it for fans. Power supply, biggest power supply that you have can come in here. The hard drive cage will move and it will come out. If you want to put it in here, you can put up to 2 3.5 inch or 2.5 inch. It will accommodate both. When you want to take these out, you just push all 3 of these down, push it in, and that will come out no problem whatsoever. You can invert this case. So if you want to take it out, there's some factors in here. You're going to have to loosen them, take all the screws out, and you convert it so that it looks from the other side instead of the typical normal way. And so that's a great feature. You got more room in here, so that's where your radiator would be. But if you don't need it, you got more room to hide your cables if you need to. There's lots of room down here, lots of tie-offs everywhere. So not much that you're missing, that's for sure. So on the top, this does not come off. It will come off if you really need it to. You can unscrew it. Okay, you can take it all apart, pretty much everything. But this typically is not going to come off. You've got 6 slots here for airflow. Okay, kind of a nice design. So you can set things there, whatever you want to do. So let's have a look again at the bottom of the case. So the reason I've gone back to the bottom is to show you first it has a filter, which you pull out from the front. I'll show you that in a minute. But these are 2 screws here that you need to, if you want to take out the hard drive cage, you have to remove these. And I'm going to bring it back up and show you the other screws you have to take out to remove the hard drive cage. Okay, so you have another screw here and another screw here. And of course, you're going to have to loosen all these screws, and then you'll be able to just remove the hard drive cage. And then you'll have ample room for all your cables, power supply, all that kind of good stuff. So the other thing I want to point out is your SSDs if you want to mount them. So you can mount 2 up here. You have 1 removable here, so you just thumb screw, loosen that off. This whole thing will come off, and you put it in there. Of course, I mentioned that you can put a couple of them down here as well. You know, so lots of options for adding SSDs if you want. Although nowadays I tend to use M.2 drives. So going back to the front, you'll have to take off the front panel in order to get on the bottom filter. So you just pull this out. All right, it's quite long, covers the whole distance. And of course, clean it off, put it back in. And then just a matter of taking your front panel, put it in the back on, lining everything up, which is much easier than I'm making it look. And it goes in, just like that. So there's really only one other thing to show you, and that's that this case has LED lights on this wrap around. I'm going to try and see if I can power it up without a motherboard, mind you, just a power supply, and see if those will light up so I can show you what they look like. So because I'm going to be doing a build in this, everything in it is, as much as I can, is going to be from Be Quiet. So I've got the Be Quiet Dark Power 12, 850 watt power supply, no compromise silence and performance, fully modular, and we're going to get that in there and power this up so you can see the RGB lighting and everything, or LED lighting, I guess I should say, and just give you a quick look. And then you can stay tuned. The video will be coming for a complete build in it in the future. So for those of you that are interested inside the box, you've got your Dark Power 12 user manual, okay, all the way up to 1000 watts. So if you happen to have the other version, it tells you everything about it, over voltage, under voltage, all that kind of good stuff. Everything that's covered, which is pretty extensive actually. And then of course underneath here we have our actual power supply, which, believe it or not, in a box that's this size, it's quite small, comparatively speaking. Okay. Or your different, let's see that from the right side. And yeah, pretty cool. I am going to put that in here. There's going to be so much room left afterward. It's going to be unreal. And you'll see that when I go ahead and do it here. Now, of course, it does include every bit of cabling you could ever possibly need inside the box. Okay, all your power cables, SATA, multiple different ones. You got your, well, more SATA. My goodness, you got a lot. You have your PCIe and CPU. Now, it does come with an extra one, so if you have a motherboard that has an 8-pin and a 4-pin, this one will have you covered. Okay, you've got your PCIe connectors and another second set. And of course, you have more, pretty fancy actually. See if you can see that. That's for your power supply to fasten it in. Nothing wanting on this. So we're going to get all the cables connected that we're going to need right now. And we're going to light this up and show you what it looks like. But before I do that, I want to show you this one more thing that it has. So this is actually going to go in your motherboard case. And it has an on-off switch for overclocking. And all your connectors. Never seen that in a power supply before, so that's pretty cool. You can read up more on that. You have to look up online. I haven't done a video on this, but just wanted to point that out. So I did want to show you the thumbnails or thumb screws they gave you. So they just thumb tighten, right? Once those are in there, you're good to go. And now we're ready to power the system up, if it had motherboard, of course. But we can power up some of the fans and things and see what happens. I'm very impressed with this, actually. I've never seen a case come with these before. Or actually, I guess in this case, the power supply came with it, not the case. But still, have you seen that before? If you have, leave it in the comments that you've seen this before and what companies are doing this, because I think that's a nice little touch. So one more thing I want to talk about as well is fan compatibility. So on the top, you can fit 3 120s or 3 140s. On the bottom, you can do a 120 or a 140. On the front, you can do 3 120s or 3 140s. And on the rear, you can do either a 120 or 140. And your power supply shroud, you could add, if you wanted to, somewhere down there, you could add a 120 or 140 to that as well. Radiators on the top, all the way from 120 to a 360. On the front, 120, 140, 240, 280, 360. Now, it doesn't mention 280 on the top. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the spacing. And on the rear, a 120 or 140. And it just covers pretty much everything. So on the top, again, 120 240, 360 millimeter rads. Doesn't mention 280. Not sure why. Maybe it's spacing, like I say. But on the front, you can put all the way from 120 to 360. On the rear, 120, 140. And they have a 140 included, and they have a 140 included in the front. And that's it for fans and radiators. So power supply is plugged in, connected to the SATA, so the fans are running, and the lighting is on the case. You can see it here on the bottom, and you can see it on the other side here as well. So if I want to change that, you can do it with the case. So you just push one button, and now it's going to be in breathing mode. Change it again to a different color, and then breathing mode. And you keep doing that till you go through all the different colors, and then I guess you're just turned off. And there does have one more setting. I just want to show that to you. As I believe, once I get there, no, it just starts again. So let me just get back one more time. So when this is off, I thought I was supposed to go into a rainbow mode, but it probably is dependent on the fact the RGB of the case itself needs to be plugged into the motherboard to get that feature. So that's just something to be aware of. But yeah. So you don't have a motherboard with addressable RGB, not a problem. You can still control things. You can still have breathing modes and static mode. All right, everybody. So if you like that video, hit that like. If you don't, you know what to do. Think about hitting that subscribe. If you're new here, think about doing that. And also, you can click the join button if you want to support the channel. Hit the bell click that for notifications as videos come up in the future. And just thanks for watching. And if you have any comments or something you don't like or something else I didn't show you, or you just want to know more information, leave a comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching. Great case. I may rebuild mine into this. I'm thinking about whether I'm going to do that or not, or if I'm just going to use a new system. We'll have to wait and see. But it's coming up. So if you want to see it, hit that bell. Thanks for watching.